Welcome to Kingston, Washington, not Jamaica. Today we're doing the Kingston Edmonds Ferry Crossing. Come on along for the ride. Welcome to WHATDOIN. We're Deb and Aaron, two retirees originally from Washington State who love to travel the country, make new friends, have new adventures, scuba dive, hike, cook, and just about anything outdoors. Come along for the ride. You never know what kind of crazy adventures we're going to get mixed up in, and you never know what doing. You know one of the best things about being retired? When you wake up in the morning and it's a nice, unexpectedly warm day, you can just take off and go wherever you want. Today we decided on Kingston. It's a little town of about 2 square miles on the Kitsap Peninsula, but it packs a ton of stuff in that 2 miles.
They have potato bombs. 3 bombs.
What's the best thing on the menu?
Oh my gosh, look, potato bombs. They have totally potato bombs. But empanadas, you can't.
Yeah, I bought a sample of them all. I don't want the cream corn one though.
If a crepe sounds good, there's a place for that. But I always like to stop by the Over the Moon Coffee Roasters. It's a local shop that sells Peruvian beans. This little place can get pretty busy, but the baristas are pretty quick with slinging coffee around. Get your favorite order, grab a snack, and then head out. Maybe take a little walk through the park, take a look at some of the boats in the marina if you're waiting for the ferry, but make sure you're in time when they start loading. It's typically about a half an hour before the sail. Don't be the guy that's late. The Washington State Ferry System is the largest operating public ferry system in the United States. Today's ferry ride would take us on the MV Kington. It's the third largest in the super class at 382 feet. It's capable of carrying 1,868 passengers and 144 vehicles per trip. It was built in 1967 and retrofitted in 1999. The 30-minute crossing costs $17.90 for the car and driver and $9.85 for passengers. Passengers only pay westbound. You'll hop off the ferry at Edmonds, one of my favorite little towns. It's because of the marine park. Just north of the ferry terminal is a 27-acre underwater sanctuary that was established in 1970. It's a playground for divers with roads and streets marked out with 2.5 miles of rope and blocks that lead you to the various underwater objects. Being that it's a marine sanctuary, the fish are used to divers, and you'll see everything from lingcod, cabezons, nudibranchs, and of course the giant Pacific octopus. I got my open water dive certification here in 1982. I've been an avid diver ever since. When you head uptown, one of the places you should check out is the Wooden Spoon Kitchen Shop. They've got just about all the goods you could need. When you're ready for good food, there's several options. Fire in the feast is always good. This morning we decided to go to Salt and Iron. The salmon and lox with biscuits and gravy were phenomenal. The paprika potatoes really made the meal. And of course there's the mimosas. Once you've finished your lunch, it's a good time to start taking a look in some of the shops. Everything from the boutiques to the kitchen shops to the t-shirt shops. You'll find some strange and wonderful things to buy in town. If you need a maple bar to pump up the blood sugar, check out Edmonds Bakery. They have some good ones. If it's an IPA you're craving, check out the Salish Sea Brewing Company. With beers, ciders, and wines, there's a flavor for just about everyone, and they also serve burgers and pub food. Hey look, we found a troll. We headed over to the Ballard Locks. This time of year the gardens are almost in full bloom. We were a little bit early, but they were still pretty to look at. Ballard locks were built by the Army Corps of Engineers and completed in 1917. They connect Puget Sound with Lake Washington and Lake Union. Boats as large as 760 feet in length or as small as a kayak can travel through the locks. Once they're in the locks, the water can drop or rise as much as 26 feet depending on the tide. It'll take about 10 to 15 minutes for the trip, and in the summer, you'll see lines of boats waiting several hours to get a spot inside the locks. It's pretty crazy to watch a tugboat push a large barge full of sand into the narrow locks without hitting either of the sides and putting it in there perfectly. The swinging walls that make the end of the locks have walkways that are built on top of them. It makes for a perfect spot to watch the transition from saltwater to fresh, or from the lakes out to the Sound. At the south end of the locks, you can find the underwater viewing tunnel for the salmon ladders. We had one last stop to see a Danby Troll in Fauntleroy at Lincoln Park. I'll put a link below so you can get an idea of what it was that we were looking at. That's about all we had time for on this trip from Kingston to Edmonds and exploring a little of the area. Look for us out on a campground, on the road, on a ferry, or cooking something up in the kitchen, because you never know what doing.